There's a suicide that has happened, and they're linking it. The dad believes it's the book, The God Delusion, that was basically given to a Christian. I'm going to show you the man that killed himself right here. And he had gone to a college which was very liberal. And when you read the story, click more info, you can read it. The professor and a lot of the other students were challenging and ganging up on this young kid here because he was a Christian conservative. And they were telling him, no, there's no God. You need to read the God Delusion. And this kid here, his professor, actually challenged him to read the book, The God Delusion. Now, I'm going to read something to you here. Okay. It goes on to saying the dad says that they were undermining every moral and spiritual value for my son. They ought to be held accountable. This is what I've been saying for years, these godless, liberal, indoctrinating institutions. It's unbelievable. It says, and the dad says, here's another thing, he continued, if my son was a professing homosexual and a professor challenged him to read a book called Preventing Homosexuality, if my son was gay and the book made him feel bad, hopeless, and he killed himself, and that came out in the press, there would be an outcry. And you know what? The dad's right. He would have been a victim of a hate crime, and the professor would have been forced to undergo sensitivity training, and there may even be a wrongful death lawsuit. But because he's a Christian, I don't even get a return telephone call. So, this is why I take it very seriously, you guys, the preaching of the gospel. Like the sermon says, the Church of Jesus Christ is not an invitation to have continuous good times. This is a war for the souls of men. And I just have so much respect and love for you guys that are out there on the battlefield, so to speak, speaking out against idiots like this guy. Do you know that, I don't know if it's because of the suicide or whatever, but now Richard Dawkins is admitting that there could be a God. So even he don't even know what the hell he's thinking. But this guy here that committed suicide right here, he was not liked by his professor, by a lot of the students. Look, it says, 3 people told us he had taken a biology class and was doing well in it, but other students and the professor were really challenging my son, his faith. See, that's out of line. What happened to tolerance for Christianity? Why is it that we have to tolerate idiots like this guy, Richard Dodo Dawkins, who has never walked on water, who has never performed miracles, who can't even keep his hair, right. But yet when we speak about Jesus Christ, there's no tolerance for that. Look what had happened at his school. This poor kid here, who no one had tolerance for at his school. It says they didn't like him as a Republican. Notice, they didn't like him as a Republican, as a Christian, and as a conservative who believed in intelligent design. So, this Sunday, by the way, I'm doing a radio show, and we're going to talk about the importance of speaking about the truth of God's Word. They used to actually teach the Bible in schools. But then as the world has gotten more and more liberal, and we have idiots like him spewing his humanist religion, Richard Dawkins, this is what happens within our society. It's just shocking. You should read this article. You guys that have known me since 2006, I've been saying, get your kids out of public schools. I've been saying that for the longest time. They are liberal, indoctrinating, socialist institutions. Notice the dad agrees with me, or I should say, out of respect, I agree with him. He suggested the moral is for Christians simply to abandon public schools wholly. I'm telling you, get your kids out of these public, godless, liberal, indoctrinating public school systems unless you're going to be taught lies and fairy tales from people like this dodo. So our prayers are with the dad whose Christian son has committed suicide from the pressure and the badgering of this professor and the other atheist students. By the way, you see the link over here on the right that says shotgunnow.net. Click that. I'm doing a radio show on Sunday, this Sunday, and it's going to be live. It's going to be 10 o'clock Pacific time, but I'll bring this up also on the radio show. I truly believe that I am so blessed to have escaped the humanist religion of atheism, which is nothing but Satanism with lipstick on.